Hey, what's up guys, it's Archie from Little Rice Muncher Gaming. Today we're going to be unboxing the new pure white edition of the Ducky One 2 SF. SF stands for 65, so this is a 65% keyboard. This is Ducky's follow-up to the popular One 2 Mini. I do have a pure white edition of the Ducky One 2 Mini here available, so we will be doing a direct comparison later on in the video. One of the main questions that we're going to be answering today is what are some of the differences between the pure white edition of the One 2 Mini versus the pure white edition of the One 2 SF. Now, if 60 and 65% keyboards are not up your alley, Ducky also did release a pure white edition of their One 2 TKL keyboard, so that is also a great option if you're interested. Other than that guys, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and start with the unboxing. Per the usual, I got my keyboard at mechanicalkeyboards.com. We're going to take a quick look at the box. There's really nothing to be seen on any side of it other than here at the top and all around is the Mechanical Keyboards logo on their tape, but that pretty much sums it up for the outside packaging. So let's go ahead and open it up. Alright, so the first thing we'll see here is the Ducky One 2 SF keyboard. It does look a little bit bigger than the other boxes for the One 2 Mini and the Mecha Mini, but let's take a look at any other contents. So here is the invoice, and here is just a little bit of paper packaging. Now this looks like pretty minimal protective packaging, but I haven't had any issues with any of my keyboards in the past from mechanicalkeyboards.com. Here on the front of the invoice you'll see the model number of the keyboard that I got. Again, it is the Ducky One 2 SF in pure white. This is not a new keyboard by any means. It is fairly new, but this is their second colorway as far as I know. I did decide to get the Cherry MX Reds. Traditionally, I'm a big fan of tactile switches, but I decided to kind of switch it up and try linear switches, so I've kind of grown to like them. As far as switches goes, guys, there's several options for switches, only in the Cherry MX variety, but other than that, that's all that we have in the box. So let's go ahead and jump into the keyboard. So right off the bat, I can tell you this does feel a little bit heavier than the keyboards of the past, but there is a plastic covering here that is Ducky branded.
Ooh. Say ooh.
Pretty logo heavy here. If you have bought Ducky keyboards in the past, the design language looks really similar. You have some of that embossed metallic lettering and logo here on the top left. This one is somewhat of a purple tinge. Also here you'll see that on the One 2 SF. And now here in the middle you'll see some gloss textures as well. One thing that is different that I have not seen in the past with the Mecha Mini and the One 2 Mini is right here on the front has some advertisements of some of the switches that they do offer. So like I said, I got red, I usually get brown. There is black, and then there's speed silver switches, so if you're interested in really highly competitive gaming, that might be an option for you. I've tried that in the past, it didn't really work out for me. Quicker actuation, but also a lot shorter travel, so I could not get used to that. But other than that, that is the front. Let's take a look at the sides. Okay, so you'll see here, this is also a new sticker compared to the box of the One 2 Mini and Mecha Mini. Originally it just tells you what switch you got, but right here you'll see what is the colorway. So this is the white case, so pretty cool identifying piece right there, SF on the other side, and then also the barcode and the model number here on this side, pure white red switches, so more identifying information. And then here on the back you'll see some of that purple tinged embossed metallic lettering, as well as the dimensions. The weight 635 grams. There's the length, width, and the height, made in Taiwan. And then here you'll see the advertisement of Cherry MX switches. Guys, I've said this in the past, but they are a pretty good standard for switches. Cherry MX is a really reputable brand, so love them, hate them, doesn't matter. They're a pretty good brand. Of course, don't spill water or any beverages on your keyboard. Now back to this guys, I do want to point out that Ducky has posted on their social media about fake keyboards in the past, so if you're purchasing this keyboard and other One 2 Mini or just any keyboards in general from Ducky, make sure you get it from a reputable site because there are fakes on the market. Other than that guys, that's pretty much it for the box. Let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, so the first thing that you'll see here, of course, is the dust cover. This is per the usual. If you bought any Ducky keyboards in the past, you've seen that before a time or two. Here is the keyboard. We are gonna save that for later. However, I do see that navy blue keycaps, so I'm assuming those are the bonus keycaps that we're gonna get. Let's take a look at some of the inserts here. So the first thing here, and this is different, I don't remember this is a user manual guide. It's in pretty thick cardboard. Just talks about repairs, not spilling any beverages, of course. Maybe I'll start on this end, but here you got the Ducky channel logo. Different language, I can't speak that. Even though I may look like I can speak it, I can't. So guys, 1 year warranty from the day of purchase, all right? So there's that. Here is the manual. The Mecha Mini and the 1-2 Mini share a manual, but the Ducky SF is a different manual, guys. Now, you may assume that a lot of the functions are completely the same, but the Dipswitches on the SF are actually different and serve different functions. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a pop-up right here to show you what the Dipswitches are responsible for. But if you're not familiar with Ducky, basically a lot of the functions of the keyboard are inboard, meaning you don't need any software to do them. So pros and cons of that, but we won't get into this because it is an unboxing and that's what I'm gonna focus on. So there's a bottom, just some more branding here. Now here on this side, you're gonna see some of the accessories. I'll just pull them out one at a time. So here is the Type-C cable. It is white. I believe it is gold plated, as you see there. It's covered. There is also a Ducky branded strap right there. Okay, so there's a Type-C cable. Next up, we have a completely different spacebar. This looks pretty neat. I believe in the past we've had Year of the Pig, so I welcome the addition of a brand new spacebar. This spacebar does feel like ABS plastic, so I believe that trend has carried over from the previous keyboards, so they feel a little bit cheap. There is a regular spacebar on the keyboard already, so there's that. Next up, you have the keycap puller. It's just a wire keycap puller. Honestly, feels a little bit cheap, but it does the job and it doesn't scratch up your keycaps. And I've known some other keycap pullers to do that. So I like to use this whenever I pull keycaps. And then here is some more keycaps. This is a nice bonus by Ducky. I really think it's a nice touch. Honestly, I don't think I said this yet, but the 1-2 SF was $109. The 1-2 Mini is $99 and the Mecha Mini is $119. So honestly, those keyboards just alone are a great value, and just the fact that they include extra keycaps to kind of spice up your keyboard, I really think that's a great value and a great touch by Ducky. So really great. I want to say these caps are navy blue. On the 1-2 Mini, you'll see that's kind of a powder blue, a little bit darker here than on here. It may not show on the video, but they are different. Other than that, guys, as far as the unboxing goes and the rest of the box, there is nothing else in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and move in to the 1-2 SF. Now, one of the major questions that I obviously want to address was what are the differences between this and this, but another thing is when I was watching Bad C Tech's video, I noticed a lot of flex in the body of the keyboard. So hopefully I want to see that that's been mitigated a little bit, but we'll see. Guys, this looks absolutely gorgeous. I've said this in the past. If you've been following my channel, I'm a big productivity guy. I don't just game, so I really missed having the arrow keys, as opposed to on the 60% you don't have the arrow keys. You don't have some of these productivity keys such as delete, page up, page down, home, and end as a secondary function here. So I really missed that. In the caption below, guys, I will be updating it periodically with my experience with the keyboard. So if you're wondering what I think of it currently or in the future sometime, be sure to check that out. Okay, so other than that, guys, it's very similar form factor to the 1-2 Mini. Now the length of the 1-2 SF is 325 millimeters, whereas the 1-2 Mini is 302 millimeters. The other dimensions are virtually the same. The keys feel fantastic. As far as the build goes, the flex that I was talking about that I saw demonstrated quite a bit by Bad C Tech was right here. So I'm pressing down here with a reasonable amount of force, and I do see a little bit of flex, but definitely not as much as what I saw in Bad C Tech's video. And quite honestly, I feel like that's almost not even worth mentioning, because in no way, shape, or form when you're gaming or using the keyboard are you going to be pushing up and putting that much pressure on the sides like that. So other than that, I have to say, as far as holding it and typing on it, the keyboard feels really durable. Holding this keyboard in my hands, I haven't even seen it yet, but honestly, feeling the bottom, it feels like a matte finish, and lo and behold, it is made of a matte finish, as opposed to the 1-2 Mini. On the 1-2 Mini Pure White Edition is kind of more of a glossy finish. Okay, so you can see this reflection other than the aluminum plate here, but glossy over here. Now back to the matte finish on the 1-2 SF. Absolutely absorbs the reflections. Now one thing that is a little bit different, and I don't really think that it's a big factor, honestly, is there's a nub on the 12SF here. So that sounds kind of stupid to point out, to be honest, but that's my duty as an unboxer, is to kind of point out some of the differences. I'm assuming that's going to help stabilize the keyboard. As far as the feet go, you do have 3 level adjustables. So you have no kickstand, and then you have 1 level above that, and then the highest level above that. The rubber feet here, long, rectangular. I've had no issues with the rubber feet of the past on my Mecha Mini or the 12 Mini, so those are gonna be, I think, pretty durable and will keep the keyboard from sliding. And then here on the middle, the usual guys. Here is a little transparent cover that I'm trying to remove. It is kind of difficult to get off on camera. Oh, here we go. Alright, so there it is, Ducky 12SF. If you see here, it says Wonerific, kind of a little cheesy, but it's just nice to see Ducky kind of have their own personality as a brand. So there's that, product number, serial number, if you're interested. Alright, now here on this side, I did mention this earlier in the video, these are the Dipswitches, and they do serve different functions than on the 12 Mini and Mecha Mini. Now taking a look at the back, you'll notice a lot of the same design language as what you've seen on the 12 Mini. So taking a look at them side by side, here it is. Again, the 12 Mini is more of a gloss finish, whereas the 12SF is more of a matte. And then here on the right side, you'll notice the same style of port, which is a little bit recessed. The Mini on the bottom, the 12SF on the top. The bezels look pretty identical. A lot of the same form factor, same size bezel. All right guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the most important feature of this keyboard, the RGB. So here at the top you have the 12 Mini, and here at the bottom we have the 12SF. The RGB mode is activated by pressing FN, Alt, and T. Same thing on the 12 Mini. There are several RGB modes that I will insert at the end of the video if you are interested. But as far as the RGB goes, the look of the 12SF is very similar to the 12 Mini, and that's saying quite a bit because the RGB on the 12 Mini is quite amazing. A combination of the white keycaps and backplate and casing just provide for some of the best RGB in the business. So if you're really interested in some eye-popping RGB, I definitely suggest this keyboard. Now, one thing of important notice is the fact that the accent keycaps that come as an extra by Ducky on the 12 Mini, they're actually shine through. If you notice here, you can see some of the RGB shine through the arrow keys, the Ducky symbol, and the backspace and enter keys. Taking a look at the accent keycaps that were included with the 12SF, you do see a little bit of the RGB shine through, but definitely not as much as what you see on the 12 Mini. There's a massive difference here. So that might be a turn off for some of you guys that was looking to get the 12SF and use the accent keycaps. Another thing worth notice is the addition of these 2 LEDs. Compared to the 12 Mini, this should provide for some equal lighting underneath the spacebar. Alright, so moving on, let's go ahead and do a typing sound test. Alright guys, so as far as typing on the keyboard goes, I have to say the stabilizers feel pretty fantastic. I think they're really smooth. I don't feel like there's really any rattle with the spacebar. Really good feel with all the keys and the stabilizers. I have no complaints in that department. Now, a couple things of notice. Keycap swapping. If you'll notice here, these keys on the bottom right, and one of the most popular questions that I get on my keycap videos is, will this fit this, will this fit that? Let me go ahead and address that. This is a non-standard bottom row, meaning specifically the Alt and FN keys are non-standard, as well as the right shift key. So there are going to be kits out there that fit these. That's going to be one of the cons of the keyboard, is just the fact that if you wanted to customize the keycaps, your choice and replacement keycaps are going to be a lot smaller than if you went with a standard layout like the Ducky One 2 Mini. Alright guys, that pretty much sums up the video. Overall, I think the pure white edition of the Ducky One 2 SF is a great value and definitely worth considering. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment and I'll answer you ASAP. If you guys found the video helpful at all, hit that thumbs up button and support the channel by subscribing. The more support that I get from you guys, the more unboxings that I'll be able to do. Other than that, I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Little Rice Muncher Gaming signing off. Thanks.